Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host Indie Comics Jones. Today is October 14th, 2021, and this is episode 436. Engine Ward is what we're looking at today. This is coming out from Vault. This is issue 12, and it is the conclusion to the story. This is a recommend, by the way. It's got some flaws in it, but overall, I thought it was a pretty entertaining story. There are some things with it. We'll talk about it because I brought them up in the other reviews I've done on this. Let's take a quick look at the cover. And I believe this is supposed to be Gemini, although they are missing half the metallic half of the head. So I'm not quite sure if that's who it is or not, but it looks like it's supposed to be because she does play a major part in this, or at least half of her does. There's one half that's corrupted and the other half that has seen the light, so to speak. So we have these Celestials on planet Earth in the future, and Earth has become a dystopian future. However, there's a Terran seed buried by the ancients that Josh, the Engine Ward, has recovered, and it's been stolen from her, and she's trying to get it back. So it's been kind of this chase throughout the continent, trying to track her down while she's trying to find the Terran stone. The Celestials have been pretty evil. They've been brutalizing the local population. Resources have been dwindling, and it has come to a point where it is all-out war with the Celestials versus the Celestials and the mind-washed humans versus the humans and the alien shades and robots and things. So yeah, it's a good story. Let's take a quick look to see who worked on this. We got George Mann as the writer, Joe Esma as the artist, colored by Michael Garland, and lettered by Hassan Otsmane-Elhaou. I believe I said that fairly correctly. That was the same team on all 12, so congratulations to all the whole team staying together for all 12 issues. That's kind of a rarity these days. But we pick it up where Josh, the Engine Ward, is making her way underneath to where the Terran seed has been hidden. It's kind of like in this archive area that's run by the Celestials. Meanwhile, there's this big battle raging outside the city, as the humans are trying to take it back. And so this is when Gemini, or half a Gemini, comes up to her and says she wants to help her. Josh doesn't believe her at first. Creek, the robot, says, hey, we better, just take her up on her offer for now. We have no better way of doing it. They get attacked by some of the brainwashed humans, and it turns out the Gemini actually can control them. Then we have Leo show up, and Leo's kind of working with Virgo to try to just take over everything. And we find out Leo has actually the one that murdered Capricorn, or everybody else finds out Capricorn's murder was blamed on the humans, but it was actually another Celestial that killed him when he wasn't happy with the division of power that was going on. So we get a little tussle between Leo and the Lion and Gemini and Josh, and we have someone sneaking up behind Leo and bopping her on the head, knocking her out. And I believe that is, boy, I can't remember who it was. Oh, that's right, it's Josh's father shows up. And he was one of the mind-controlled, but now Gemini's been able to free them all. So they continue to make their way to the Terran seed. Outside, though, the war rages on. We have Ichabod, who I believe they've really underused in this. And he's pleading, I believe this is with Mars or Taurus, I can't remember. They used most, if not all, of the Zodiac as characters in this story, and it was hard to differentiate them. Sometimes they didn't have the horns on them, sometimes they didn't. Like Aquarius is pretty obvious because it's kind of this water creature made out of water. So that was pretty evident. Pisces, I don't remember if there was anything that really showed that was anything to do with kind of the fish symbol. But we also had this narration that goes on, and it's not till the very end that we find out this narration is actually by the robot Creek. And Creek's kind of like this humorous guy, while this is very, very stoic writing. And it really doesn't, to me, it really doesn't fit in until the very end, where you get more of the rundown, what is described as happening. And this ending is actually very, very good. I really like it. Kind of reminds me of Spock and the Genesis machine, and that one of those Star Trek movies, the way they ended it. But they want to use that Terran seed to reinvigorate the Earth and grow things again and bring back water and everything else. So they do make it to the final chapter where there's all these archives and artifacts and things. And they find the chamber where the Terran seed's in. And Josh says, well, this is it. She gives Creek a hug. And Creek has actually become like pretty emotional. And he's able to live on and tell these stories. And that's what these little blurbs that we see every once in a while in blue text. So we go ahead. She takes the Terran seed with her. So I thought at one point that perhaps Josh and Ichabod would get together. They seem to have kind of an unrequited love for each other, but apparently it doesn't happen. So we get Josh sacrificing herself to become part of the rejuvenation of Earth. As you can see, just big tree of life kind of sprouts out of the city. The celestial forces that we're still fighting have given up, and they've all decided to live well together, and we get this nice little roundup at the end as Creek tells his story to, I believe that's one of the more modern robots that is going on. So it's all ended up, it really, the complete series collection will be out soon. I think that's a better way to digest this story. This is, like I said, it's 12 issues. I think it could have been a little tighter, but you can see there's some rave reviews here from people. So overall, a good job. Another good comic from Vault, which has been doing a great job. I am going to give it the Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating seal of approval, given out only by Indie Comics Jones on this particular channel, except no substitutes. So thanks for stopping by and watching this review. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't. Please leave comments if you wish, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones, California bound, in about 3 weeks, saying, I bid you adieu.